Listen to me, fellas. When it comes to women, you've got to understand something. They ain't out here moving careless. Women are thinkers, planners, and strategists of the heart. A good woman knows exactly how to reach into a man's chest, grab his heart, and hold on to it without ever raising her voice. And the truth is, it ain't manipulation, it's wisdom. See, women have mastered some psychological tricks, and when you recognize them, you'll understand why you can't stop thinking about her. First trick, the power of mystery. Women know men are hunters by nature. If she gives you everything too quick, you lose interest. So she leaves space, keeps some mystery. She don't text back instantly every time. She don't lay her whole life story on the table in one conversation. That little mystery, that's what keeps you chasing, keeps your mind working overtime. Fellas, let me tell you something about women. A woman knows the game better than you think she does. She ain't just walking into a relationship blind. She's stepping in with strategy. Now, you might think you're the one chasing her. You might think you're the one making the decisions. But trust me, if she's the right kind of woman, she already knows how to get to your heart before you even realize it. And one of the most powerful things she uses is mystery. See, men are hunters by nature. We love the chase. We love to figure things out. We love to feel like we've earned something valuable. If a woman gives you everything too fast, too easy, you start losing interest. That's the truth. You might not admit it, but the thrill fades and your energy starts shifting. Women understand this. They know if they lay all their cards out on the table too soon, you won't value the game. That's why they hold back a little, just enough to keep you wondering. Now, don't get me wrong. This ain't about playing games in a negative way. This is about understanding human psychology. A woman who keeps a little mystery keeps you chasing, keeps your imagination running, keeps you looking forward to the next moment with her. Think about it. If she answered every text the second you hit send, if she poured her entire life story on you in one night, you'd stop craving her presence. But when she leaves some questions unanswered, when she lets time breathe between responses, when she gives you just enough to stay intrigued, your mind starts working overtime. You're thinking about what she's doing. You're wondering why she ain't replied yet. You're planning the next move just to get closer. That's control right there, and you don't even notice it happening. See, men like to think they're in charge, but the truth is, a smart woman knows how to pull back just enough to let you think you're the one leading the chase. She'll smile at you, but won't tell you what's on her mind, and that smile alone will keep you up at night trying to figure it out. She'll listen to you talk, but she won't spill every detail about herself right away. And because of that, you keep coming back, hoping to discover more. The mystery is the hook, the unanswered questions are the bait, and your curiosity becomes the chain that ties you to her. What happens when you finally feel like you're getting closer? You feel like you've won something rare. And when a man feels like he's won something rare, he don't take it for granted. That's the brilliance of mystery. It ain't about hiding forever. It's about revealing slowly, letting the relationship unfold layer by layer. That way, every time you see her, every time you talk, there's something new to discover. That's how she controls your heart without ever raising her voice or demanding attention. She makes you crave her by not giving you everything at once. So you think she didn't reply because she's busy, but really, she's letting you feel the absence. You think she didn't tell you everything because she's shy, but really, she knows you'll lean in closer just to learn more. And before you know it, you're caught up, you're hooked, and she's sitting right there smiling because she understands exactly how to work your heart. That's the art of mystery. That's the psychology women use, and that's why so many men find themselves falling harder than they ever planned. Second trick, emotional mirror. A woman has this way of reflecting your own emotions back to you. If you're down, she comforts. If you're up, she celebrates. She makes you feel understood. And brother, when a man feels understood, that woman owns his heart. You'll find yourself saying, she just gets me. That's no accident, that's skill. Now let me tell you something powerful about women that most men don't even recognize. A woman has this gift, this ability to take whatever you're feeling and reflect it right back to you. It's like she becomes a mirror for your emotions. You walk in the room after a long day, shoulders heavy, eyes tired. Maybe you don't even want to talk about it. But she looks at you, really looks at you, and without you saying a word, she starts speaking to that emotion you're carrying. If you're down, she finds a way to comfort you. If you're up, she celebrates right along with you. And that connection is what makes a man start to think, this woman gets me. And when you feel like somebody truly understands you, man, that's a bond you can't shake off. See, men don't usually talk about everything that's going on in their minds. We carry a lot in silence. Society raised us to be tough, to hold it in, to not cry, to not complain. So when you finally meet somebody who doesn't force the words out of you, but can feel what you're feeling, that's magic. That's when you start leaning in. That's when you start depending on her presence, because it feels like she's the only one who really sees the man behind the armor. And once a woman has you at that level, your heart belongs to her without you even realizing it. It ain't always about the big gestures either. Sometimes it's just in the little things. You're telling a story about your struggles, and instead of brushing it off or giving you advice, she just nods and says, I know that must have been hard. Those simple words, man, they land deep, because in that moment you feel validated, like your feelings matter, like somebody's paying attention not just to your words, but to your soul. That reflection of your emotions creates safe space. And when a man feels safe emotionally, that woman has unlocked something no one else can touch. Think about the flip side. When you're excited, when you're talking about your dreams, she doesn't downplay it. She amplifies it. She smiles wider than you do. She claps louder than you expected. She speaks life into your vision. Suddenly, your victories feel bigger because she's standing right there cheering for you. You start associating your happiness with her presence. Every time something good happens, she's the first person you want to tell. Every time something bad happens, she's the one you want to run to. That's not an accident, brother. That's intentional emotional mirroring. And here's the tricky part. A woman doesn't even have to say much to pull this off. She listens. She watches your body language. She notices the little changes in your tone. You think she's just quiet, but she's collecting information. She's studying you. And before long, she knows you better than you know yourself. She can tell when you're lying about being fine. She can tell when you're proud but hiding it. She can tell when you're carrying the weight of the world and trying not to show it. And instead of confronting you aggressively, she adjusts her energy to match or soothe yours. That's how she gets into your heart. What makes this so powerful is that men don't experience this from just anybody. Out in the world, most people don't care how you feel. At work, you're expected to perform. With friends, you might joke and laugh but never get too deep. But when you've got a woman who knows how to emotionally reflect, suddenly you've got a place where you can lay down your burdens without judgment. That becomes addictive. That becomes home. And once a man finds home in a woman, he will fight, he will provide, he will sacrifice just to keep that connection alive. That's the quiet psychology at play. A woman who makes you feel seen and understood doesn't have to demand your attention. She doesn't have to chase or beg for your love. Your own heart gives itself away because you can't walk away from the person who makes you feel whole. That reflection, that emotional mirror, becomes the most powerful magnet in the relationship. See, women know men's egos need food. A woman can say 3 words, I'm proud of you, and that man will fight battles for her, build empires for her. She sprinkles just enough appreciation to make you feel like a king. And when a man feels like a king, he'll never want to lose his queen. Let me tell you something real simple, but powerful. A man may look strong, may act tough, may walk around like nothing bothers him, but deep down, every man's got one thing he craves: appreciation. I don't care how much money he's got, how many muscles he flexes, how successful he is. At the end of the day, a man wants to feel valued. And women, oh, they know this. A smart woman knows she doesn't have to shower a man with gifts or overwhelm him with compliments all the time. No, she understands the psychology of subtle appreciation. Just the right words at the right time, and suddenly that man feels like he can take over the world. You've got to understand how fragile a man's ego can be. The world beats us up every single day. The job tells us we're replaceable. Society tells us to be stronger. Competitors tell us we're not enough. We walk around carrying those unspoken battles. And then here comes a woman who simply says, "I'm proud of you." Brother, those 4 words can light up a man's spirit. He could have been doubting himself all day long, but when she looks at him with that sincerity and says it, he feels 10 feet tall. It doesn't have to be dramatic. A woman can lean in when you're fixing something in the house. Maybe you're not even good at it. And she says, "I love how you take care of things." Boom. That compliment right there will make him keep trying, keep improving, because he feels like somebody sees his effort. That's the psychology. Subtle appreciation takes a man's natural drive to provide, protect, and achieve, and fuels it with emotional reward. And once a man ties his success to the way a woman makes him feel, she owns his heart. See, men are built to do, to conquer, to solve. But we don't keep going just for ourselves. We keep going for the validation of the people we love, especially the woman by our side. That's why a man will break his back at work, grind every day, hustle for years, because deep down, he's waiting for someone to say, "I see you, I respect you, I appreciate you." When a woman sprinkles that kind of appreciation, not every second, but enough to keep him fueled, he feels unstoppable. Now here's where it gets deep. When subtle appreciation comes from the right woman, it separates her from everyone else in his life. Other people might notice his success, they might clap for him when he's winning, but she's the one who notices the little things. She's the one who tells him she's grateful not just for the big achievements, but for the way he shows up, the way he tries, the way he cares. And that right there, that's what digs into his heart. Because every man wants to feel like his efforts are meaningful. Every man wants to believe he's making a difference in somebody's life. And when a woman makes him feel like her life is better because of him, he's locked in. It's not manipulation, it's wisdom. It's the ability to understand how men work emotionally. You don't have to flatter him all day long. You don't have to exaggerate. The most powerful appreciation is quiet, honest, and specific. He might be driving you somewhere, and you just say, "I feel safe with you." Do you know what that does to a man? It activates his instinct to protect and makes him want to keep you close forever. Or he might be chasing a dream, doubting himself, and you whisper, "I believe in you." That sentence alone can push him through sleepless nights and heavy obstacles, because now he's not just chasing success for himself. He's chasing it to keep proving you right. So women who understand this trick don't waste energy begging for love or attention. They know that feeding a man's ego the right way plants a seed in his heart. And once it grows, he will give back everything he has, because the man who feels appreciated will never want to lose the woman who made him feel that way. Fourth trick, strategic silence. Women don't always argue back. Sometimes the trick is silence. That silence gets in a man's head. It makes him reflect, makes him worry, makes him come back and try harder. Because silence screams louder than words when a woman uses it right. One of the most powerful things a woman can ever use on a man is not her words, not her beauty, not her attitude, but her silence. Now let me explain this, because most men don't even see it coming. A woman knows when she's dealing with a man who isn't listening who's brushing her off, who's taking her presence for granted. She knows when her words are bouncing off walls. And instead of arguing, instead of repeating herself 100 times, she'll just stop. No warnings, no fireworks, just quiet. And let me tell you, that silence is louder than anything she could ever say. See, men are used to noise. We're used to complaints, nagging, questions, conversations, arguments. When that suddenly disappears, when the woman you're used to hearing every day goes quiet, that's when your mind starts racing. You start wondering, why isn't she saying anything? Why isn't she calling me out? Why isn't she checking on me? That silence is a mirror, and it forces you to look at yourself. It makes you think about what you've done wrong, what you've ignored, what you've failed to provide. That's why silence is strategic. It makes the man hear his own conscience without her having to raise her voice. A smart woman knows words can lose their power when repeated too much. You tell a man 10 times to change something, and he tunes out. But the moment you stop telling him, the moment you stop reminding him, the moment you stop engaging, that's when the weight of his own actions hits him. He doesn't feel nagged anymore. He feels the void. He feels the distance. And that distance can be the very thing that pulls him back. Now here's the thing about silence. It ain't about playing games. It's about protecting your peace and letting a man feel the reality of losing your energy. Sometimes a woman talks, she argues, she explains because she cares. She still wants to fix it. But when she decides her silence will do the speaking, that means she's letting you experience the cost of not valuing her. And let me tell you, most men can't handle that. We'll pretend to be strong, we'll act like it doesn't bother us, but deep down that silence gets under our skin. It makes us restless. It makes us realize something's off. And the more we think about it, the more we understand how much we need her voice, her presence, her attention. A man who truly cares can't survive in that silence for too long. He'll come back, he'll ask questions. He'll start trying to fix what he ignored before. Why? Because silence opens the door for him to reflect in a way her words never could. It forces him to evaluate himself instead of defending himself. That's the beauty of strategic silence. But there's another layer to this. A woman who uses silence wisely also learns how to maintain her dignity. She doesn't chase, she doesn't beg, she doesn't break herself down trying to be heard. She lets the silence show her strength, because silence says, I know my worth, and I'm not going to waste it on deaf ears. And that strength is magnetic. Men are drawn to women who hold that kind of quiet power. It humbles us, it makes us want to rise up, it makes us want to be better. Think about it. A man can ignore 1,000 words, but he can't ignore the sound of nothing. When he walks in and she ain't giving him her usual energy, when he calls and her responses are short or delayed, when she withdraws her presence, that silence becomes a teacher. And most men, if they care at all, will learn fast. That's why silence works. It doesn't just punish, it transforms. It turns a man's pride into reflection and reflection into action. So when a woman decides to stop talking, when she uses that pause not out of anger, but out of wisdom, that's when she shows she doesn't need to argue to be heard. The silence speaks louder than any words ever could. Fifth trick, emotional bonding through vulnerability. A woman can drop her guard at the right moment, show a little softness, a tear, or trust you with her fears. That activates a man's protector instinct. Suddenly, you're not just dating, you're guarding her heart. And once a man feels responsible for protecting a woman's heart, he's locked in for life. There's something about a woman's vulnerability that cuts straight into a man's heart in a way nothing else can. See, men are wired to protect. It's built into us. We want to feel needed. We want to feel trusted. We want to feel like somebody depends on us. And when a woman shows the right kind of vulnerability, not weakness, but openness, it activates something deep inside of us. Suddenly, we're not just dating her, we're guarding her. We're invested in her in a way that goes beyond attraction. A woman who lets a man see her soft side is making a powerful move. Because the world is tough on women. 2, they're expected to be strong, independent, hold everything together. So when she chooses to let her guard down with you, it feels different. Maybe she shares a fear she's been holding. Maybe she cries in your arms. Maybe she admits something that scares her about the future. At that moment, you don't see her as fragile. You see her as human. And that humanity touches you. It makes you want to step up. It makes you want to protect not just her body, but her heart, her soul, her dreams. Men often act like they don't want to deal with emotions. But let me tell you, when the right woman shows him her heart, that man feels honored. He feels chosen. Because vulnerability is trust. She could have kept that wall up, but instead she let him in. And once a man is let in, once he feels that level of responsibility, he takes it seriously. He starts thinking differently. It's not just about having fun anymore. Now it's about protecting what he's been trusted with. And that shift is powerful. Think about it. You could be the toughest guy in the room, but if the woman you love comes to you crying because she's had a hard day, all that toughness melts away. You put down whatever you're doing just to be there for her. You listen, you hold her, you reassure her. And the next day when you wake up, you're thinking, how do I make her life easier? How do I keep her from hurting like that again? That's how vulnerability works. It plants seeds of responsibility in a man's heart. And once they're planted, he can't just walk away. But it's not just about tears. Sometimes vulnerability is in the small admissions. Like when she tells you she's scared of failing, or when she admits she doesn't always have it together, or when she says she can't do it all on her own. To most people, she looks strong, confident, independent. But to you, she shows the side nobody else gets to see. And that makes you feel special. That makes you feel like you've been given access to her private world. And once a man feels he's been given that kind of access, he guards it like treasure. Women who understand this don't see vulnerability as weakness. They see it as a bridge. It's the thing that takes a relationship from surface level to soul level. Because when she opens up, it gives him permission to open up too. It creates a cycle of honesty and closeness that ties two people together in a way nothing else can. That's why some men will fight battles they never thought they could handle, because they've bonded to a woman through her vulnerability. They've seen her heart, and they don't ever want to break it. A man can be surrounded by beauty, charm, and attention, but the woman who shows him her true self, her fears, her doubts, her softness, she's the one who sticks in his heart, because he doesn't just see her, he feels responsible for her. And once that protector switch flips on inside a man, he's locked in. He'll go the extra mile. He'll take the harder road. He'll sacrifice his comfort, because the bond created through her vulnerability won't let him walk away.